It's a sound we all recognize. You pull the metallic edges of a fresh bag apart until the seal suddenly bursts, releasing a distinctive hiss of escaping gas. But peering inside usually leads to two immediate frustrations. The bag appears to be mostly empty space, and the crinkly wrapper itself is destined for a landfill. This empty space, or slack fill, has sparked dozens of class action lawsuits. Consumers frequently sue snack giants in federal court, alleging that the oversized packaging is a calculated attempt to make the product look more substantial than it is. Beyond the perceived deception is a measurable environmental cost. This natural shoreline is buried under a layer of plastic debris, where single-use snack wrappers are among the most persistent and visible pollutants. While these designs are often dismissed as corporate greed, the bag's dimensions and materials are actually dictated by a strict set of industrial and chemical requirements. Removing the environmental impact means altering the specific chemical environment that preserves the food, creating a conflict between the shelf life we expect and the waste we want to avoid. A potato chip is a surprisingly volatile object. Once it's sliced, fried, and salted, the starch and fat are immediately vulnerable to the surrounding atmosphere. It has two primary chemical enemies: moisture, which ruins the texture, and oxygen, which triggers a process called lipid oxidation. In this reaction, oxygen molecules break down the frying oils absorbed into the chip. Within days, the fats decompose into compounds that give the snack a distinct, rancid flavor. To prevent this, factories use a high-tech workaround. The air inside the bag is a controlled flush of 99% pure nitrogen gas. Nitrogen is non-reactive. It displaces the oxygen to stop the oil from rotting, prevents the growth of aerobic bacteria, and acts as a pressurized cushion to keep the chips from being pulverized into dust during shipping. But the gas stays inside because of the wrapper, a microscopic laminate sandwich. It's a fusion of polyethylene plastic and aluminum foil. These layers act as a shield, blocking light, oxygen, and moisture so effectively that the chips remain crisp for up to 18 months. The specific barriers required to keep a fried potato fresh for over a year are the same properties that allow the package to persist in the wild for 5 centuries. This is why chip bags are usually rejected at recycling plants like this one. Because the plastic and metal are melted together into a single laminate, current sorting machinery has no way to separate them for processing. The industry is aware of the problem. One of the most famous attempts to fix it was the SunChips initiative, which replaced the laminate with a 100% biodegradable bag. Chemically, it was a success, but physically, the material was a disaster. The plant-based structure was so rigid that it produced a deafening crinkle when handled, leading to an immediate backlash from snackers. The noise wasn't just an annoyance, it caused a 30% drop in sales. The company was forced to abandon the sustainable design and return to the quiet, unrecyclable plastic they used before. Then there is the Pringles can. At a glance, this iconic cardboard tube looks like a much easier format for a municipal recycling program to handle. In reality, it's a wicked problem of its own. To protect the food, the tube relies on a hidden foil lining and a metal bottom, creating a multi-material container that most local facilities still won't touch. Every attempt to optimize the packaging for the planet seems to require a compromise. Either the food spoils or the consumer rejects the experience. Today, the race is on to find a middle ground. Engineers are testing monomaterial films and post-consumer recycled blends that aim to mimic the properties of foil without the recycling headaches. Monomaterial films use only one type of plastic. If they can provide enough of a barrier to keep the chips fresh, they could theoretically be recycled as a single uniform material. But laboratory success often fails at the curb. This landfill mountain is a reminder that even if a bag is theoretically recyclable, most municipal infrastructures aren't equipped to process flexible films, so the dump remains the likely destination. Ultimately, the environmental footprint is a reflection of our own demands. We expect our snacks to be cheap, mass-produced, and perfectly intact when we open the bag. That crinkly, half-empty bag is the result of the choice we make. We accept long-term environmental costs in exchange for a predictable, immediate crunch.